Good morning, YouTube. My name is Justin. I run this channel here called Bike and Bird, and I am a huge science nerd. So when I found out that you can buy microscopes on Amazon for around 20 bucks, I had to get one. And after spending about 45 minutes looking for my microscopic penis, I thought it'd be a great idea to take a look at what helps me compensate for that teeny weeny. My Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Let's get into it. So with all joking aside, I did actually think this would be an interesting video. This little microscope here goes anywhere between 40 times magnification all the way up to 1,000 times magnification. Now I have played around with it a little bit just to kind of test out and make sure it works. Even though it says 40 times to 1,000 times, when it's up against the cover here, you really only get 2 focuses. And if I had to guess, I would say it's anywhere between like a 200 or 400 times, and then again, closer to the 800 to 900 times magnification. You'll see what I mean here in a second. But one thing I thought was going to be interesting on these 2 bikes is we have a 2018 Road Glide Ultra in industrial gray, and we have a 2018 Fat Bob Softail in industrial gray denim. So we have 2 of the same paint codes in 2 different finishes. Also on this Road Glide Ultra, we also have vinyl wrap on the bottom. So we're going to be able to see both what vinyl wrap looks like up close, as well as the transition point between paint and vinyl. Outside that, we also have multiple surfaces. So for example, on the Road Glide Ultra, we have the bags, we have the tour pack, we have the fairing, but we also have the metal gas tank. Also, this Road Glide Ultra has about 3,700 miles on it, and the Fat Bob has about 2,000 less at around 1,600. So not only are we gonna get to see the difference between gloss and denim, but we're also gonna get to see how they have kind of compared over time. I've been the only person to wash these bikes since I've gotten them. I bought the Fat Bob used. This has been brand new, and I don't let the dealership wash it because of the vinyl wrap. Chemicals can mess it up and stuff like that, but it'll be interesting to see how if we're seeing any micro scratches or anything like that. All right, so we've got the microscope hooked up. As you can see here, I can see it on my phone, so let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so I apologize, I'm gonna have to mess around with this a little bit. What? This paint actually has multicolored flakes in it. You can't see this at all to the naked eye, but you can tell clearly. Hold on, let me turn down the light a little bit. Also guys, this is really hard to focus, so please forgive me. What? I mean, you got all different kinds of colors. You got greens, purples, blues. I did not expect to see this. Like I said, I'm looking at it here with my naked eye, and you cannot see that color at all. I mean, you definitely see some flake-ish qualities, but the color is not there. All right, let's go ahead and take it in a little bit closer. Wow, okay, so this is where you can really see all the different colors. That is crazy. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna take it back out and see if I can see any micro scratches just on like a brief scan of the bike. All right, so here's one that I found. It's really hard to see here on camera, but I'm sure you can kind of pick it up. I'll go ahead and kind of adjust the colors on the screen a little bit, make it a little bit more noticeable. That is one of the only ones I can find here on the tank, on this side at least. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hop onto the other side. All right, so here's one I found on the other side. This one is a lot easier to see on video, and it is a lot more visible to the naked eye as well. But I'm talking maybe 1/4 of an inch long, and I mean unmeasurable wide. So let's go ahead and punch in on this one and see if we can get a closer look at it. All right, so that's about as best as I can get it to focus here. Also, any slight movement is really affecting the view here. But as you can see, I mean, it's on this level, it looks really bad. But like I said, to the naked eye, you can hardly see it. Also, this is right here in the front of the tank, so this is going to be the most abused part of the tank, in my opinion. All right, I'm gonna do a quick scan to see if I can find any more. All right, so here's one more that I found. This is the only other one I could find. A little bit, I mean, about the same as the last one we found on this side. So there you have it up close. It's crazy how you can see just, I mean, Not only the big parts that are really hard to see, but also the small parts that are impossible to see with the naked eye. All right, so let's move on from the metal gas tank and let's move up front to the plastic front fairing, which should get a lot of more damage with rock chips and bugs and things like that, and see what we can find. All right, so here we are at the front of the bike. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so the paint itself looks very identical to what is on the tank. I'm just mentioning that because it's a different material, different base material. Obviously, it's going to be the same paint. I mean, just like the tank, we've got a lot of different colors and shiny bits, all of which are very hard to see in the naked eye. I have some bug guts on here, so I'm really curious to see how these look. Ew. So this is just a very faint leftover bug mark. Could definitely get it off if I tried. So this definitely is not embedded into the paint or anything like that, but you can definitely tell it's left a certain glaze over the paint. Let me try to punch in on that dirty spot there. Ew, what is that? I mean, obviously it's bug guts, but well, that's gross. Moving on. So I was really hoping to find some more prominent scratches or rock chips or something like that, but I'm having a hard time finding one. Okay, and as soon as I say that, I find one, so let's take a look. So this is the deepest scratch that I can find on the front here. It definitely has a different style than the ones that we found on the tank. So there you can see it. It's pretty deep. Once again, looking at this in person, I mean, if you weren't looking for this, you definitely would not see it, but this is a lot easier to see than the ones that we just looked at on the tank. That's pretty crazy. I'm gonna do the fingernail test to see if this is actually below. All right, so I'm not feeling this with my finger. Well, I feel a little bit. So it is possible that this could be buffed out. With this being plastic though, it's really hard to get that paint hot enough to, or that clear coat hot enough to get that out. But considering what this fairing has been through, pretty impressed at how it's held up even with these deeper scratches. So I wasn't planning on doing this, but just because I didn't find a lot of good scratches up on the tank, I do see a definitely the easiest to see to the eye here on the front fender. So I'm curious what this looks like, because this also is metal just like the tank. All right, so there it is. That is our lower magnification. We have not punched in yet, and as you can see, definitely the most noticeable scratch on here. Also, I do want to say that from what I've just been looking at, this is the most noticeable scratch on the bike, and it's still about half the length of my pinky nail, and not even as wide as the whites of my nails. So I'm gonna go ahead and punch in on this. All right, so there you go. You can still kind of see the flake underneath some of the parts of the scratch, which that's pretty interesting. This one also can be felt gently with the fingernail, which means that it likely won't buff out, but with this being metal, you have a higher chance of this buffing out than this buffing out. All right, so enough with the Ultra. Let's go ahead and move on to the Fat Bob to see if we have any difference in the matte and gloss paint. So this camera angle is actually capturing it pretty well. I know that in other videos, these paints look vastly different, but in this angle with this lighting, you can see that this color and this color is actually the same paint code. This is just the gloss and this is the matte or the denim paint. Okay, I'm gonna start up here on the tank because we have two different colors on this tank, so I'm curious to see what this paint looks like, compare the gloss, as well as how this paint looks like in comparison to the gray here. Wow, okay, so we do have that same multicolor speckle to this. I will say it's a little bit easier to see the speckle to the naked eye on this denim than it is on the gloss. Let's go ahead and punch in here. Wow, so punched in, these paints look almost identical. I will say there is a little bit difference. You can kind of see it's a little bit more dull here on the denim, but I mean, you can tell that these are the exact same paints underneath. All right, so now let's look at the transition between the gray and the black. All right, so here we are, punched out, looking at the denim gray, and we're gonna move up into the black. Oh, there it is. Huh. So it looks like you still see some speckle through the black. So here is the black punched in. I don't know what that yellow dot is. Let me turn up the lights a little bit, make sure. Okay, so it's not just a glare or a shadow. I don't see anything on the bike from where that is. Just in case you're wondering, yes, Harley-Davidson did put a trademark in their paint. That's at the corner of the N here on the tank. All right, so with this bike being so new, I'm not seeing any major scratches or anything, even any tiny scratches like we found in the Ultra. But I do have this, I believe it's metal? No, that might be plastic. I don't know. But this is the OEM dash, and this is very susceptible to surface scratches. They are very noticeable to the naked eye. So I'm gonna punch in on these and see how bad these look. Ooh, so okay, this is our punched out view. As you can see, there are a ton of surface scratches. Like I said, this paint is extremely easy to scratch. I will say the previous owner did most of these, but even with me being careful with this, I have put some of these in myself as well. All right, so let's go ahead and punch in on these and see how deep they actually are. All right, so they're not as bad as I thought they were going to be. Having a hard time focusing on this reflective surface, but this, I honestly expected it to be worse. And then one last thing I want to take a look at was actually the Ultra once more, to see that transition from vinyl to paint. All right, so in case you have no idea the history behind this bike, we did buy this bike completely stock, and we did do the wrap portion on what you see black here on the body. So this up here is the paint that we looked at earlier. The black that you see is actually a vinyl wrap product that you can buy and apply yourself. So first what I want to do is take a look at the vinyl itself, and then we'll look at the transition. All right, so here is the punched out version of the vinyl. As you can see, it kind of has like almost like a leather texture to it from this angle. Let's go ahead and punch in. Nothing really exciting happening with this. So let's go ahead and look at this transition. All right, so here we have the punched out version, or view I should say. Let's go ahead and make this transition. So there you have it. There's where it goes from vinyl to paint. Let's go ahead and punch in on that, see if we can see anything interesting. Wow, so there it is, super close up of the vinyl and the paint. You can really see the color difference, the texture difference. You can see how this line is at the microscopic level is super imperfect and not straight at all. And now down here, I'm gonna look at what this logo looks like. Wow. So that white that you're seeing is white vinyl, and the black that you're seeing is black vinyl. The white is gloss, the black is satin. It's not matte, so it doesn't have complete dullness. It does have a little bit of gloss to it, but you can clearly see the difference in textures there. So there you have it, folks. That's what the Harley-Davidson paint looks like under a microscope. If you want to get one of these little bad boys, these work on Android, iPhone, Mac, PC. They work on pretty much everything. Like I said, I think I paid around 20-25 bucks for it. I'll go ahead and include a link down in the description. If you have anything else on the bike that you would like looked at under a microscope, please go ahead and leave your suggestions down in the comments. Other than that, if you like this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. It does help the channel out. If you haven't already, go ahead and punch that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.